Looking for special event catering or delicious and affordable meal prep services? Visit www.cherrysdaughter.com to book catering services for your next special event or to get started on your journey to a healthier, happier you in 2019 by signing up for meal prep services today. Cherry's Daughter offers a variety of healthy and delicious meal options to meet your individual fitness goals and health needs. Cherry's Daughter also provides catering services for both private and corporate events. All dishes are made with the best ingredients, picked with care, but most importantly, made with love. Go to www.cherrysdaughter.com today. Located in Germantown, Maryland, servicing the D.C. metropolitan area.
Say it like you mean it. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Let's go get it.
Let's go get it.
Let's finish it.
Let's finish it.
This is how you become unstuck. Clap it up, baby.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the second edition of our University of Unstuck podcast, Our Side of the Fence. I'm your host, Forever Goodwill, here with Lee Jr. and Mr. Brandon Chapman.
Finally got him, baby.
The man, the myth, the legend. Man, he is in the building. The third layer, man. I hope y'all ready, man. And I'm glad to have everybody back. We had a great first podcast. You know, like, I try to be humble, but I ended up listening to the podcast like 4 times myself and learning stuff. I was like, who said that?
I ain't gonna hold
Lee,
you.
you said that? That was you.
I ain't gonna hold you.
What? I said that? What did we try?
So, like, I did the editing, and even after the editing, hearing it on Spotify, hearing it on iTunes, hearing it on YouTube, I had to listen to it at least 4 or 5 times. Same thing. Like, I'm listening to it over and over, and I'm just trying to grasp like what everybody else is hearing. You know, as if I wasn't already there, but you know, the feedback's just been crazy, man, for this podcast. So I'm excited to do it again, man, and keep it going.
Yeah, and I don't think it was. I really don't think there's another person that we could have added.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than Brandon.
Yeah.
Really. Like it would have been tough to kind of be like, oh, we're gonna add somebody else. Who you gonna add, bro? I had to ask you, like, so who you think we gonna add? Like, yeah, it's a very short list of people who I would, you know what I'm saying, definitely want to share with you all. You know, more so than share the podcast with, but share with you all. So, I mean, I'm glad to be in the seat next to these two gentlemen for sure. They say you are the company you keep. I'm gonna stop being so humble at this point.
Let's go, man.
We've been at this for years.
Yeah.
We've been at this for years.
Yeah, for sure. So kind of catch up a little bit, man. We did Wilson High School, and man, like, it felt good to kind of get back into speaking, because I know I took the month off. I took December off just to kind of get my rest in, because 2018 was crazy with the book release and everything. But getting back into it at Wilson High School, I think I did 4 sessions up there. Dude,
It's a
workout, man. It's like we in the gym right now. Like, it's like all them weights, like, pushing again, like, over and over again. But it was a good experience, man. They took to it, and they'll definitely be calling us again. Because normally we go in February for the Black History joint, so they'll definitely be hitting us up for Wilson High School. Wilson High School. So yeah, man. The snowstorm.
I enjoyed the snow. So I wanted some snow, man.
Yeah.
I was out a little bit in it. Like, when it first started, I always like to push the limits. Like, everybody, y'all can go in the house. Let me get out here and see what it's really doing, you know? So, as it first started coming down, like, you know, the time when you really not supposed to be out there, like, when it first gets bad, but right before the plows get out, you know, when, like, it's a 90% chance that you're going to get stuck on the side of the road.
That's because you drive a beautiful car. You want to drive it like them commercials you see.
Exactly.
Oh, the Tokyo Drifter, parking your car.
That's what it is.
Listen, man, I love my car. I think I just want to test it. Like, you know, you pay a certain amount of money for something, you, like, read the reviews. Let me see what they really talking about. They just slap this on the sticker, you know, they say it could do this, you know, they forged those videos. This is really about something. So it did absolutely wonderful until I got to my house.
Right.
Like, I got a tiny hill in my community. Like, coming up, it's not even a real hill. It's like you might sneeze and miss the hill. And my car, like, made it all the way back home and got up to this tiny hill. and it was like just did one of them, little Tokyo drift, like you said. And but I mean, I enjoyed the snowstorm. I got to stick in the house. I was 4 days off in a row. I was with the fam, my girl, you know what I'm saying, my son. Just some unexpected time off, because I feel like sometimes we too scheduled with our time off, and then when you schedule your time off, you get into a routine of on these off days, I'm gonna do exactly this, and it just becomes, 100%. You know, just.
The truth is, man, look, when the snow came, me and my family need a day where we don't have nothing to do but to sit in our pajamas if we want to sit in our pajamas, throw on some boots, make a snowman, whatever it is. Like, we need them days. We need them days. And,
I kind of felt bad for even, like, sending everybody a text message on a snow day. Because the text messages be like, hey, still do something. Still make it happen. Hey, let's get started. Let's go get it. Let's finish it. But I did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Sit in your pajamas, no responsibility whatsoever. You know, just relax with the fam. It was much needed, man.
Yeah, that's your responsibility to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like, you deserve to just, you.
Self-care is real. Self-care is real.
Yeah, it's something we miss. I mean, I think that's something that is totally undervalued, is the fact of, like, we just are so busy on go. And most of the time, a lot of the time, we don't feel like we on go unless we on show. Like, you know, unless you can see my progress, I must not be doing nothing, you know, and that's stressful. That's stressful. Like being results oriented is so stressful.
I mean, I gotta admit, I kind of still, you know, snuck off and did some work, you know, during the snow, cause I get antsy. I get real antsy because I'm heavy on momentum. Like, I'm real big on momentum. And although I did the Netflix and chill thing, I kind of, you know, stepped off a little bit, got on that laptop and said, because here's the thing, it snowed on Sunday. Y'all know I'm a musician for churches. It snowed. I ain't making no money. So I still was, you know, I took some time to, you know, get on the laptop and, you know, make some money online, you know, sell some books, you know, sell some merchandise, you know, put some videos out. That gave me an opportunity to chop the videos up finally. So now I can put you out there, put Will out there on the social networks and really kind of, you know, put some more value into the brand, to the business. So it was a good time, man. I enjoyed that snowstorm.
Yeah, we know. Think about it though. We both went into panic mode after the snow. We was talking. I was like, I ain't want to rush this podcast, but this is perfect. We should release that. Yeah. We should. I mean, everybody at home.
It was the perfect time.
Yeah, so it wasn't like. I mean, that's the cool part about this kind of work, is that when you do this type of work, it's a part of you. So even when you're taking your you time, it always comes full circle, and it almost filters back into your work, you know. And if people, if we did more of what we loved, I feel like our me time would actually reward us in our work, and our performance at work. But a lot of times I think that we're not aligned in, you know, our work and in our purpose, and I think it's a privilege that I'm able to work inside of my purpose, and that way my me time shows in my work a lot.
Yeah. Me working in my purpose, or however you want to say it, has created a life for me that I could be present for my family, for my kids, for my wife, love what I do, and smile while I do it. You know what I mean? Like, I truly enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, that snow day and just being able to be flexible and create the lifestyle, truly the lifestyle that I want to create, and what I'm trying to build, you know, in a couple years. So yeah, it's beautiful, and also to see y'all doing it, it's powerful. It's powerful, and man, I'm excited to be on this podcast, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited.
We came all the way out to Frederick for this one, man.
They came out to the boonies, man.
We came to come get you, man. But yeah, it's dope. It's dope. So what's the topic, man? Let's get into it.
This is one of my favorite topics, and because it is something that applies to everyone, and I think we all have room for growth in this area, and it's an accurate estimate of self.
Okay.
Accurate estimate of self.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in layman's terms, we like to call it self-esteem. But it's an accurate estimate of self, because you just got to really break down self-esteem and kind of take that cliche from the word, because we say it so often and we say it so quickly that we don't really like break the word down and look at what does it really mean. What does self-esteem really mean? You know, and I think in our society, you know, we confuse sometimes pride with self-esteem, and my other thing that I really feel like hurts us, especially in this day and age with a lack of attention span that we've garnered, because we can get everything so fast, so much immediate gratification, Instagram, you know, it's an instant, you know what I'm saying, gratification. It's the instant telegram, like, that you're sending, and it's just a snapshot. But I think what it really weighs a lot on our self-esteem is that we overvalue being a great person and we undervalue being a good person. And what I mean by that is, like, most people who are great are like, they kind of like are forced into a moment and they got to make a decision, and they make a decision that not the average person would make. And it's like, oh, that's a great person. And they just hang their hat on that for a long time. Like, oh, that's a great person because they did that thing. They hit the game winning shot. Right. Robert Orr is a great player because he hit some, he hit some shots, right? But to be a good person is, that's the word. You define and being consistently of good value, of additional value, of good nature, of positive energy on a regular basis. And I don't think we give that enough credit and enough value. And I think that hurts our self-esteem. Because we're not giving ourselves the credit we need to say, in reality, every single day, when I'm going through the motions every single day, when I walk into the room, people are happy to see me. Here's what I'm doing. These people, places, and things would be different if I weren't there. Right. You know, and no, I might not be going down in the history books as the great such and such and such, but I am adding to the fabric of life in the world around me. You know, like, and we don't value that as much because everybody's so busy being great, right? You know, a shooting star is absolutely amazing, right, but don't have nothing on the sun. And the sun is there every single day.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, like the definition of, you know, self-esteem. Like, what is your true definition of self-esteem? And B, you can kind of answer the same question.
For me, it's your self-esteem is you accurately grading how you're performing on being the person who you see yourself as. Yeah,
and that's exactly where I'm coming from. When I first think about self-esteem, I'm thinking about self-awareness. Mm-hmm. You know, my strengths. Mm-hmm. You know, the things that I'm good at. Mm-hmm. Believing in myself, courage, like things like that. And when I think about low self-esteem, I think of, okay, if you have a low self-esteem, you must not know who you are. You must not know your purpose. You must not know your strengths. So when we talk about self-esteem, like, what are some practical ways that you can, you know, get your self-esteem up? For me, I know for an example, at a time where I did have low self-esteem, I would just go give. I would just go help somebody else, because that will make me happy, and then it will turn into, oh, I'm happy. Okay, that's the momentum that I have. Mm-hmm. Let me go do something else. Let me go find something else to do. Mm-hmm. Let me go play some music. Oh, I like music. Let me start making some music. Mm-hmm. And then I just started to try to find my strengths within that. You know, just trying to get my self-esteem up, but not even knowing that I got low self-esteem, but just trying different things. Like my sense of urgency and trying to just figuring things out, connecting the dots. Yeah. You know, as to, you know, what makes me happy. That's what brings the self-esteem up. Like,
I'm 100% with you, B. Would you?
No, yeah. So self-esteem, I feel a lot the same way as y'all do, but I like to think of it as like we all know who Debo is. Mm-hmm. And with self-esteem, we all got this Debo voice in us, right? Mm-hmm. That likes to punk us to prevent us doing things. Mm-hmm. For instance, like, I'm uncoordinated, right? I tell myself I'm uncoordinated. Like, we tell ourselves, Debo tells me. I can't. Yeah, Debo tells me. Debo tells me, you're uncoordinated. Don't go out there and dance. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then I allow Debo to punk me in that way. Mm-hmm. So my self-esteem, sometimes I think of it as of those things that you tell yourself I can or I can't do. Right. Like I can be an awesome father, you know, for my kids. If I speak that to myself, to my self-esteem, then I'm going to be that. And so the power, I think self-esteem, like one of my things that I use is the power of the words that I say to myself.
Very cool.
In the way that when I feel challenged or when I feel like, you know, out of my comfort zone, like your self-esteem, CC, I think of it as like when we grow up, certain things happen to us that cause us, our body, to want to protect ourselves. You feel me?
Right.
So whether it's I got embarrassed on the stage when I was in elementary school, anytime I'm going to get back up on the stage, something's going to be in me to try to protect me from feeling that way again.
Correct.
Right? So it'll tell you, nah, you're not a public speaker, or nah, they don't know, you can't give them any sound advice. Don't nobody, you know, Debo will speak to you.
Right.
Debo will speak to you from these past things, and we need to start speaking more words. You know, I mean, the Bible says life and death is in the tongue. So if I could build somebody up and tear somebody down at the same time, imagine what you could do to your own self.
Correct.
You hear me? And so we got a Debo to Debo.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
You got a Craig to Debo.
Yeah, we got Craig. Where my brick at? You know what I mean? Yeah, we got Craig to Debo.
Yeah.
But that's when I think, when I work with a lot of the youth that I work with, is when I start looking at their self-esteem. I try to ask questions so they can answer rightly how that Debo speaks to them, so they could assess how they feel and attack it. Sometimes life gets crazy. It gets crazy for all of us. Like, yeah, for y'all listening, life gets crazy for us. Like, we ain't perfect. Like,
100%.
you know what I'm saying? Like we go through the go through. Like,
Oh yeah, oh man, listen. I'm gonna tell that story today. Remember I told you we were sitting and we first started talking about the podcast. I told you I was gonna tell that story, and you was like, "Yo, you gotta tell that one on the podcast, right?" So, most of the time, you know, when I get in those moments, I use that as fuel, because then I try to figure out where it came from, and I weigh it against, like, is that how I see myself? Like, is that how I'm gonna go out? Like, if this is my last moment, is that the moment I want to go out? Like, I want to go out, like, not knowing, not knowing if they really gonna like my dance moves when I hit the floor. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing if you know I could really attain that thing, or not knowing if I could beat Debo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't run from Debo forever, bruh. Like, he gonna run you out the hood.
Yeah, straight up.
You know, like.
that's what happens to us, though. So many people you said run out the hood. We get ran out of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, most people get ran out of ourselves. That's why so many carbon copies and so many duplicates and so many replicas of.
You know what I think plays a part on that, though? I think society plays a part on that, because some people are numb, and they don't have that feeling to be able to identify with, you know, having low self-esteem or not wanting to do certain things, because they're so numb because of what society says you should and shouldn't do. Like, for us as men, society says we shouldn't really feel, especially within our relationships. We got to be numb sometimes, you know? So not having that feeling.
I hear what you're saying about society, but we putting too much. How about in our own household?
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? I wasn't. My mom hard. My mom don't express love that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So society puts that on us. Yeah, that's true. But our own households, like our own parents, then raised us to be a certain way, especially in the African American community, because for so long we had to be that way to be able to make it.
Yeah. You couldn't show. You couldn't show what was perceived as weakness. You know, and when we say, like, and you say numb, and I get you when you say numb, right? But I don't know if we numb, because we feel the pain. It's whether or not we show it. Or it's not even whether or not we show it, it's how we show it. Yeah. You know, because sometimes you want to cry, and then instead of the people who want to cry, a lot of times they express it in anger. Right. Or they express it in objection to rules and regulation, because they can't express their vulnerability in any other way other than, I can't show weakness. Yeah. So I'm gonna take this and ball it all up, and I gotta get it out somehow. Is it violence? Is that how I do it? You know, is it you know,
going to a drug? Going to a bottle, you
know, now again, even better, going to a drug. Yeah. Y'all wanna know a drug? Y'all wanna know a drug? You know, you wanna know the government has to be the biggest pushers of drugs in America. They got drugs on smash like El Chapo. Ha, you ever heard of the U.S. government? Yeah. You know what the crazy drug is? Alcohol.
That's to numb the pain. And one of the reasons why I say numb is because there was this lady I saw on the news maybe about 2 years ago. There was this lady, and she had like multiple sons die. Mm-hmm. Multiple sons got shot and killed in the streets. And maybe it was her third son that got shot and killed. The news reporter was asking her, how do you feel? Like, are you okay? She was just like, at this point, this is my fourth son. This is my third or fourth son dead. Like, let's get the funeral going and let's keep it moving. Like, it is what it is. Like, she had no feeling. Like, she was numb at that point. Yeah. So that's like a real fit. Like, I don't know if you remember that on the news, but that's like a real feeling. Like, people go through these go-throughs over and over again, when they get to a certain point, it's just like it's no point in even having them feelings anymore. They still have them, but it's like a certain level of numbness where they can't feel them.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Too.
Very dangerous.
That's dangerous because it don't matter how many times you experience death. The reason why death is traumatic to us is because it's a reminder that we aren't here forever. That's why it's like, it's not because, like death is that thing that reminds you, like, bro, you're not invincible. Yeah, we all got that extra. You know what I'm saying? Somebody go like, oh, they could get touched. You wasn't expecting them to get touched. What that mean about you? Yeah, for sure. That's the reality of death that you got to deal with, right? Yeah. And my mom passed, and like, it took me a while. And then even, speaking of that too, I handled it like a G. They like, oh, you took your mom dying so well. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I did. I ain't even cry. I was all right because I had lots of good conversations with my mom before she died. And like my mom had a heart attack probably like a year to 6 months before she actually died of a heart attack, right? And after she had a heart attack, my mom had like faced death like 3 or 4 times before that, right? And she made it through every single time. Like before I was born, my mother had a miscarriage and she had 3/4 of the blood in her body in her stomach. The doctor's looking at her like, you're not supposed to be alive. How do you live off 1/4 of your blood and the other 3/4 is literally in your stomach? Like, you're not supposed to be alive. And she was like, I had a greater purpose. I had more to live for. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then I came, you know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Me and my brother, we raised, and my mom always told us, she make sure her boy's all right. Make sure my boy's all right. Make sure my boy's all right. Mm-hmm. Right? And, I've been a knucklehead a time or two in my life before, you know what I'm saying? And in that year, right around the first heart attack my mom had, I was kind of turning a corner. I was no longer in the streets. Let me just say it that way. You know what I'm saying? Not as much. And she could kind of see it. And the crazy part about it was like 2 months before she had the first heart attack, like I probably wasn't speaking to her. And I hadn't spoken to her for like 1.5 years, 2 years. And the reason why is because she told me, like, we was on the phone one day and I had dropped out of college. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't working. I was in the streets. I was being a knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? And my mother, and she called my house in D.C. She had moved out. She called my house in D.C. and answered the phone. And we started talking. And she told me straight up. She was like, she called me by my middle name. She was like, David, you're such a disappointment to me. Oh. Talking about hurt.
Did that hit your self-esteem?
Oh, I'm talking about her.
Yeah. So when she said that, what happened? Well, how you feel?
It crushed me. But let me tell you why it crushed me. Because I knew it was true. Because I knew my potential. And I knew my performance didn't align with my potential, and I wasn't fulfilling my potential. That's why even before she told me that, my mother used to call out in D.C. to talk to me, and I used to duck her calls or be like, oh, Mom, I'm busy, I'm going to call you right back, because I didn't want her to give me that truth. It got to the point where she had to say something crushing because she had to get it out, and she knew she ain't had long because I wasn't going to keep her on the phone for long. So, she was like, you know what, you're such a disappointment. Boom. I told my dad, I hung up on my mom, I ain't talking to her. You know what she said to me, da-da-da-da-da, so on and so forth. And it like that messed me up. And I ain't talked to her for a year. But by the time I talked to her again, I had my act together. Yeah. I was like, hey, Mom, what you doing, Mom? You know, yeah. Hey, Mom, what's up, right? Yeah, that's dope. And it's crazy that, you know what I'm saying, like, I didn't want to see, like, she gave me, like, that's love. When, you know, that's that tough talk that you need to hear.
What you saying too is love. Like, we need to allow love in our when we're assessing ourselves, because we truly don't love ourselves.
Nah.
Right? Because we don't address, even though, like you were saying, you was in a disappointment, and earlier we were talking about how like, it's like certain things happen to us with our emotions that you didn't even want to deal with when your mom said that to you, right? Yeah. Like, and it's like we learn these learned behaviors. You were talking about, do I take this out in anger? Do I take this out in the bottle? Mm-hmm. And it's these learned behaviors. And by the time we get 18 years old, in high school and all that other stuff is cute. Mm-hmm. You can throw a little tantrum, you get kicked out of class, you fight somebody, ain't nothing real. Mm-hmm. But then as it keep growing, that's why we got so many of our people in jail right now. Yeah, right? All these other things, because we ain't never really
learn life skills.
Yeah, learn life skills.
Coping mechanisms.
Like real coping mechanisms. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't blame my parents or my parents, grandparents, and nothing like that, because that opportunity to learn about these coping mechanisms and learn about anxiety, depression, all these things that are deep in.
And be able to speak to them, not only privately, but educated.
Right, educated. Right.
Because you can say, I'm depressed, I got anxiety, but to understand that doesn't make anything wrong with you as a human being. We all deal with anxiety. We all go through depression. There's clinical depression, and there's feats of depression that you go through just when you just like, there's highs and lows in life, and understanding that the spectrum of emotion is there for a reason, and that's what makes you whole, and that's also what makes you relatable.
Yes, that's how we connect to people,
right?
Bro.
And that's that. Like I want all of our listeners to really understand where we're coming from with this, because it's so critical that you feel, like, have feelings, and not necessarily put them on everybody, but just feel, like, take that moment to yourself and just actually identify what your feelings are. How are you feeling? So you can start making shifts, start making changes. That's critical right there, bro. Yeah. Like that's so solid right there, man. Like having those feelings, having those emotions, and owning up to it. Really owning up to it, so we can start, making changes, certain changes.
I mean, I think that's part of what our society coaches out of us through uniformity, and especially in our culture. Oh, you a man. Oh, if you a man, this is how you supposed to act. Like,
take it away from it.
Yeah, like you don't have, you got 383 emotions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what
3.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
The only time we ever see a man cry is when
they win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You can cry when you win a championship or something. Like, man, we not gonna judge you on that one. But outside of that, you MJ.
You know what I like? I'll say this to you, B. You know what I like about you? Like, as a speaker, when you speak, you talk about your wife. You know what I'm saying? And you have this moment where you say, man, if it wasn't for my wife, like, I would not be right here. I would not be here. I would be either dead or in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pay homage to your wife, and that shows a certain side of you. You know what I'm saying? My father tells me this all the time. He asks about you all the time. Like, how's D doing? How's the family doing? Because you always bring that up. You always talk about it. And that shows another side. It also shows that it's okay to be in a relationship. For these youngins coming up, and they seeing what's happening in the rap game, and they seeing all this craziness that's happening, like, it's showing them, like, it's okay to get married. It's okay to talk about your
emotion, though. These little youngins afraid to love.
You know what's crazy? Now let me tell you what's amazing to me. Like, and I felt like that for such a long time about how the industry just trained, like the rap industry though that we grew up on trained us on that. Offset on Twitter trying to get Cardi B back. Like, he on Instagram pleading his case. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z.
But I think there's something to that, though.
Yeah, I think we turned the corner.
Yeah, well, I think, so a lot, there's two things, right? We turn in the corner. One is because, I hate to say it, but a lot of fathers end up out of the household. Yeah. So the young men are able to be, tie into some of that emotion because y'all may get mad at me, but female or they're tied to their emotions a lot quicker than we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna have to get through the concrete to get break down a couple walls before we get to our heart. You know what I'm saying? A female, through a couple conversations or whatever it is, they can become emotionally, like, however you want to say it, involved, whatever it is. But with like the lack of like our fathers. So I'm seeing that in a lot of kids, especially the young men that I'm working with, where they're in touch with like that emotion of like love, but they don't know how to handle it for nothing. Yeah. For nothing. Yeah. So they could say they and their perception of love is like distorted. Yeah. You feel me? You feel that they got to do something to receive it, and that's why we're seeing a lot of these young girls. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
That ties back into self-esteem, because it's like you got to do something more than be yourself in order to receive love. And that's what people don't like you don't value yourself, like your presence and all that you've gone through up until this moment that you bring to the table today. When you walk into the room, you're worthy of love. Like you got like every time I stop to talk, I learn something, and that's why I love being surrounded by the two gentlemen that I'm surrounded by. That's why I love you all, because you add value to my life just from your own experiences. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay saying like, and remember we said on the last episode, I said, man, I don't even like dudes. Right, yeah. I love y'all though. Like I do, I love y'all. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually like y'all too though. You know, y'all too. I like y'all and I love y'all. But at the same time, it's because people don't the accurate estimate of self. Yeah. Having that self-awareness. Is nowhere in play a lot of the times, because you can't, if you haven't identified, like if you haven't said, here's the type of person that I am, then you can't hold yourself accountable for anything. So you're always waffling or wavering and trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? Because you haven't identified who you are. So
how do we identify who we are?
Let me tell you, like, you know what I did the other day, and we should actually put this link up. I took a personality test. I've taken personality tests. Like I love taking personality tests, because then they tell you your strengths, your weaknesses, what type of person you are, like, and it tells you these things, right? And as you and A, that's a level of self-discovery, right? But B, what it does is if you take them consistently, it tells you your evolution and how you're changing through the experiences that you're in.
Yeah, and that's important to have like that type of opportunity. What did you say? Is a personality?
It's a personality test. Yeah,
that's important, because that's the practicality of trying to figure out like your question, like how do you figure out how to get your self-esteem up? How do you figure out who you are? How do you know who you are? I think another practical way for those of you who are listening, who have like work, a job or something, like if you have a job, I think the most practical way of figuring out, who you are, what you're good at on your job is maybe going to your boss and asking your boss, what are my strengths? Because this is somebody that sees you every single day. You know what I'm saying? Or ask the people that surround you. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared though. Ask them. You might have to warm them up to it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to make sure that you're prepared to receive that response, because they may say, something that you may not like. Or they may say something that you didn't even think of. So just be prepared to receive what they say. But definitely asking the question to the closest people around, 5 closest people around you. We talked about this on the last podcast. 5 closest people around you. What am I good at? What do you see in me? What are my strengths? You can start there. That's the most practical way that you can start with trying to figure out who you are, what you're good at. And I know BU was about to...
No, that's important that we see. Sometimes we'll have them 5 people around us, but all of us are afraid to say that about another person. Yeah, right. So if you find yourself with all 5 of your people around you afraid to say something, then you need to get a couple of them 5 out and find somebody to ignite the rest of them, so you guys could create that. But for me, like how I find mine is, man, like I don't shy away from it. Like I understand like my identity. You feel me? My identity was like I'm a king. Like I truly believe though in who I believe in Jesus and what he says about me being a king, and about who I am and how I need to stand. Yeah. And so I take that and I talk to myself all the time about that. Any opportunity that comes that seems too far, going to a DC courthouse doing something that seems unreachable, it's like who are we to society? Is society looking at us to walk in there to tell some people I'm sitting at a judge's chair, crazy, twirling around in the chair, you know what I'm saying? Crazy. So we got to speak like why not? Yeah. Why not? Yeah. So I'm about to be going into starting a parenting class in prison. Yeah. At first, Debo was speaking.
Yeah.
But then again, I remind myself, like, I'm a king. Like, afraid of what?
Yeah.
Talking to somebody? Afraid of talking about my emotions where other people are afraid to talk about their emotions?
Exactly.
Who about to get out and be able to try to form a relationship with their kids?
Yeah.
Like, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you say giving earlier about giving when you to help get yourself out of these funks, and that's so real, man. It's service, yo. You find who you are through service.
Yeah, for sure.
You find who you are through service. So
There's so many,
serve, man.
It's
So many people who just consume.
Yeah, you gotta give it to get it.
Consume.
You gotta give it to get it.
Like consumption will consume you.
Yeah.
You will never find yourself in consumption because you are what you eat. And if you are consistently consuming, right, then you only are going to be what people are going to feed you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? How you going to be yourself? You're not feeding yourself. You fill yourself through service. You feed yourself through service. You'll find out what kind of service you like and what you down for, and that's how you define yourself. And you're going to fail at some things, and you're going to fail at trying to give.
every loss.
Listen. I just I got a call the other day. Somebody asked me to give a sales presentation, right? Every loss is a lesson. I had to tell those people, I said, look, you're going to get a lot of no's. I said, you're going to take a lot of L's, right? And every loss is a lesson. You can get a lot of no's, and every no is a note, right? Every time you get a no, take note. What did you write? What did you do wrong? But pay attention to the reaction of the people when you speaking and when you engaging and when you doing something and you on a roll and you think you hit your stride and you say that thing and they look at you like, take note.
Yeah, take note.
Because the next time, don't do that one thing. Exactly. That don't mean you failed at the whole presentation. It's just that one part.
No means next opportunity.
Yeah. No. Next opportunity. Yeah. Let's roll with it. It's okay. Because relationships are abundant. And just because you fail at one doesn't mean that there's not the right one for you. And just because you got to know doesn't mean, just because you got to know doesn't mean that what's coming next isn't appropriate and better. They just clearing their way. They just getting out the way.
I would say for University of Unstuck, like when we first started that out, the first year I wasn't doing that. I wasn't assessing what was working and what was working. And it caused the second year to kind of be coast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't on the uprise. Yeah. And going into this third year, I'm like, okay, we did 2 years. Let's figure out what was working. So that's causing me to do the back end work. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think a lot of us, we run away from that because it's work. It's it's that real work. It's that work that you don't really see though. Mm-hmm. It's the work that you can't post on Instagram. I can't post every second of being on the back end, working on the website, doing the editing, doing all that getting my hands dirty type of work. You know what I'm saying? So I think what you're saying is key because we can't show that. We can't show that part of it, so we don't really pay attention to it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's clutch. I like what you said too. Knowing that you're a king, and you were saying taking responsibility. Yeah. These are practical ways that our listeners can truly, find themselves. And knowing you're a king is so critical. And I want to add to, real kings and queens, what do? They give up their crown. They give. So being a king, knowing you're a king, taking responsibility and giving. These are three things that our listeners, you guys that are listening right now, you can take into, consideration and kind of add this to what you guys already have.
I was going to say, I just look at it as every moment I've been given, I've been gifted, right? Every moment I've been given, I've been gifted. This ain't for free. Yeah. This ain't for nothing. I can't be here with these moments and do nothing with them. This is a gift. And therefore, if every moment that I've been given, I've been gifted, every moment that I give, every moment that I'm present is a present. You see what I'm saying? If I've been every moment that I'm given is a gift, that means that every moment that I'm present is a present. You know what I'm saying? I need to be presenting something, bringing something to the table, even if it's just my best self. And sometimes the best thing I can offer is silence while I listen to greatness happen in front of me.
That's clutch. That's clutch because a lot of people they don't understand what to give. They don't know what to give. I get that question a lot. Speaking at these high schools, these students. I want to give, but how do I give? And I'm gonna ask you guys that. How do you give? I know for me, personal experiences, I use the 3 T's. The time, the ties, and your talent. You know, these are 3 ways that you can give. Tithing, you know, I try to, you know, go to church as much as I can. Well, I go to church every Sunday, but I try to tithe as much as I can. You know, 10%, 30%, whatever I do, I just try to give every Sunday. But outside of that, if you don't have the money to give, you can give your talent. You know, what are you good at? Go do that for free somewhere. You know, if you're good at speaking, you know, go speak to a high school for free. If you say that you're a motivational speaker, go out and speak to some high schools for free. You know, your time. You know, like you just said, that's what kind of clicked in my head. Just take the time with somebody and just listen. Don't even say nothing. You know, just be an ear, just be a shoulder for somebody to cry on. These are 3 ways that you can give. You know, on a day-to-day basis. You know, your time, your talent, and your ties.
Yeah, man. That's my whole thing is of your time, man. And when I say of your time, for some of y'all, you're like, well, I don't know what my talent is, right? You may not know what your talent is, but you'll find it through service. So start serving in any capacity that you can, in any places that you can, and you'll learn what you like, what you don't like, and what you all right with. You know what I'm saying? So we need to give of our time in different avenues and to help. If you enjoy kids, be an assistant coach or do something. Just find some time to give, or just give more time to. Maybe if I don't know who's listening, to your own kids, to your own daughter, to your own girlfriend, to your own wife, where it's not you wanting to set something up because you like it and you trying to get them to like something too. Nah, like my wife loved going to IKEA, and to be honest with you, like that's like her birthday gift, because I don't give no trip to IKEA. We live in Frederick. That's a 45-minute drive down to, you know,
College Park.
Yeah, College Park to pack up my man. Look, but I need to give my wife that opportunity because that's her. So I need to give of my a whole half a day going down to IKEA to walk through this big store where we come out with 2 boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that, you know, you can hear it in my voice how I feel about it.
Yeah.
How you feel about the action, the surface level action?
Right.
How you feel about going to IKEA?
Right.
But then on the other side of the spectrum, how you feel about giving to your wife?
That gift, me giving my time outweighs so much more than
You see that? Do y'all hear the tone in his voice change? The whole tone in his voice change. We talking about IKEA. He's like, nah, bro, I ain't really, you know, we dope, but you know, give the man, you know, my wife, you know. But that's what you like, and that's what people don't get. It's the like, you're not result. I mean, like the process, you know, is one thing, the result is another, right? And sometimes you got to do the work that you don't want to do in order to get the result that you want to.
And I want people to know, like, we've been putting in work, y'all.
Yeah.
So as we're saying these things, don't think, I said it earlier, don't think we got it all worked out, but we've been working on certain things for so long that we see the benefit of us living this way. Yeah. And we see the benefit in our personal relationship, work relationships. Really, I don't even like calling stuff work relationship, because for me, my work ties into my personal and ties. It's all interweaved to me. So it's like all connected. So I don't even like saying my work and my personal, because like I love what I do for my job.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I'm very blessed to be able to make a difference. And I would have never stumbled across this if I didn't take the time to go to a mentoring group.
Yeah. Process.
Yeah.
Process. Yeah.
Just to find out information.
Yeah. All right. Before we even go back to last week's solid or soft, because we got a lot of feedback from last week, so I just want to make sure I read over all the feedback, solid or soft. So this week, my solid or soft is, man, I took Ava. For those of you who don't know, I got a 6-year-old daughter. Her name's Ava. I took her to the movies, man, and we went to go see A Dog's Way Home. Went to go see A Dog's Way Home. Nice movie. It's not an animated movie. It's like a actual real movie, and this is different for
like a Homeward Bound type.
Yeah, Beethoven or something like that. So it's one of those types of movies, and this is different for me and her because she's young. She's 6 years old. I'm normally going to see something animated. So I take her to go see this movie, dope movie. It's pretty long. It's almost, should be like 2 hours. I think we were in there for like 2 hours. Long movie. But as we're in the movies, I look over and she's in tears. My 6-year-old daughter is in tears. And I'm looking at the movie like, yo, it does have some up and down moments where you can, I can send you, you feel a certain type of way because you see, they make you fall in love with this dog and then they take you through the ups and downs that the dog's going through. So, The minute that she's crying, the dog is going through a downtime, and she's literally in tears. And I look over, and I'm like, I'm about to tear up myself. I'm about to tear up. And mind you, she did this like maybe 2 or 3 times because, like I said, it's a long movie. And you see the dog just go through these ups and downs, and she's just crying and crying throughout this movie. And I'm like, man, she's, and I think the reason why I felt like I wanted to cry just a little bit because she's so young, and I felt like, yo, she's growing up. It's crazy. Like, my little baby is growing up. Like, she has feelings. She has emotions and understands it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me for a loop. Like, oh, yo, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? So my solid or soft is, man, is it solid or soft that I was about to tear up in this movie theater, man? So what y'all say on that?
I say you soft because you didn't tear up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
For real, I'm saying you soft because you ain't allow yourself to tear up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Show that men do cry.
Yeah, men do cry, and it ain't only when somebody die or we win a championship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, like man, it's funny because I broke down crying. The Greatest Showman, dog.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all ever seen that, man. Greatest Showman, Michael Arnold. We took the kids to the movie theater, and it was the same thing. Like, I'm singing, these people singing, they the ugly people, you know, whatever, circus looking people, and they singing this song like, you know, whatever. I am who I'm just like, yo. I'm sitting there crying like a little baby next to my son, though. And my son looked at me like, Dad, you crying? I'm like, yeah, dog, this joint got me sad in my emotions. But it's real, just like,
100%.
We need to allow ourselves to, like, tie into those emotions, though. And how beautiful that could be to see our kids, like, hey, like, Dad got a soft side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they can come to you and expect, you know, for you to be compassionate and understanding, and you know, and then she knows that it's okay to see a man cry. Like she want you.
We talked about it last week. She got the qualities. These are the qualities she gonna look for in a man. You know, right? I think it was solid though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it was solid, bro. You know, I'm like 2 steps removed from the streets, bro. Ooh. You know, like I'm still trying to shake and get back to my emotions a lot of times. Like a lot of times, I still like the streets still like they like, so I can relate when it's like when you just gotta be when your environment jades you to the point where you almost are stale on the outside. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just had this crust, this layer that you can't go there, right? And when you do, it's a dangerous spot because it's been pent up for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like I hear it's the weirdest things make me cry. Like the weirdest thing. Like I'll hear something extremely motivational, or extremely like just powerful, and in I be having the moments and I'll be like, nah. Straight. Not too straight. Yeah. Debo, where you at? Yeah. But it's like I think it was solid, bro. Like the fact that you sitting here and you watching evolution happen and you invest so much time with your daughter and to see her, you know, manifest all that you pour out into her.
Right.
And now you got to deal with it because it's real. Like, cause you had these dreams. Like you're carving out this young lady to be this deep, you know, feeling, this evolved queen, right? And when she and as a princess, when she starts to show queen traits,
come on.
I think it's solid. It's a job well done, bro. Like, it's just kudos to you.
You flip that. You flip that in a major way because that's a whole nother perspective on how to look at it, because that's something that I truly, you know, think in my mind. I not necessarily worry, but I think about it. Like, I want her to be this type of way. And like you said, now I'm actually seeing it. Yeah. Because I'm very passionate, you know, and y'all were at the first event. Y'all were with me. Mm-hmm. What happened at the first event? I broke down at the end. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And being able to take my guards down and do that is something that I hope that she's able to do. And that was me just witnessing it right there, and it was powerful.
Man, what I want to say, look, this is the importance of surrounding yourself with people who come with different perspectives.
For sure.
And all are on. We on the same. I don't want to say the same path because none of us are truly on. Like we all got our own path, but us three are heading in the same direction. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. So whether our paths are joint one time, then they veer off left, right, we always going the same way. Yeah. And just what you say, like I didn't even think of it like that because it's so real. But now that you when we come to these points when we feel we have to deal with something like you did. Now you know you got an action thing now that's coming. And then you have to address what it is that you create that fog that separates you from that reality of feeling that feeling. Yeah. Right? So you made yourself aware and it's like, when I start seeing this stuff, like a glaze come over my eyes and it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. Because I'm not connecting with that. Right. So when you start realizing that and seeing that, that's when you beat Debo up. Yeah. And you start saying, all right, how do I attack this? So next time or whatever, I keep on growing in it.
Yeah, exactly. Next time, I'm gonna definitely cry.
Right.
At least I'm gonna give her. Yeah, I'm gonna give her a good junior. All right. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, we had a solid assault, and it was regarding my Wegmans 5-second rule, man. My Wegmans 5-second rule. Now, B, you wasn't
looking
here.
at my girl, dog.
Debo. Yeah. Craig the Debo. It's Craig the Debo. So we got our responses back. So a lot of people were saying solid or soft. I just want to read just a few responses. This is from TJ Nerves on Instagram. She says, I don't agree with the Wegmans 5-second rule. Let them look. It does no harm to anyone. Museums don't give you a limit to taking in fine art. They have benches so you can post up and enjoy the view. Let them look.
They got open and close times too, though. So eventually they gotta get moving off that bench.
That was my point. 5 seconds. You got 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Before we start feeling uncomfortable. All right. So that was a good one. Carissa Cosby, she's from Las Vegas. She says, 5-second rule is solid. I hear you. And then she just goes on to say, I want to get the book. But she's saying the 5-second rule is solid. So that's one solid, one soft, right?
Get the book and book us so we come out the West Coast, all right?
Yep. Las Vegas, y'all on our hit list. Yeah. Y'all are on the hit list, Las Vegas. Let's see. The next one is Sis. This is my sis. She said, I don't know about everyone else, but I think the 5-second rule is solid. I start to feel uncomfortable when people stare longer than 5.5 seconds. She said, I'm mad that y'all switched to a different Wegmans, though. All right, so the thing about the Wegmans is we didn't switch because of that reason. It was a little bit, I won't say not so much. It wasn't because of that reason, maybe a little bit, but the main reason why we switched to another Wegmans
was for selection.
Exactly. I'm gonna keep it there just for selection because that land of a Wegmans is a little rough around the edges.
They got exotic Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly.
They got all the flavors of Kool-Aid.
There you go. We start going to Crofton. We out there. So we didn't switch to Wegmans because of the 5-second rule. Here's another one. I would say the 5-second rule is a little soft because you are dating a beautiful lady. So why trip off someone looking for more than 5 seconds when you have her for the whole period? It's just my opinion. So that's good. That's a soft. Where we at? What's our score?
We're 2-1.
2-1. Too solid. Too soft. Too soft. All right. Next one. Sting like a bee. I think her name is Brittany. Yeah, that's Brittany. Brittany says, the 5-second rule was solid to me. After you get a glimpse, why are you still looking?
They try to make sure they take it in. They just make sure they...
Everybody wants to find a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. You glimpse it, where the gold at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. This person wants to remain anonymous. All right, so I finished listening to the podcast. The first podcast last night, and my vote is it was soft. They're going to check for your queen regardless. I would probably look at her too. But Forever Goodwill definitely put a lot of things into perspective. Looking forward to the next episode. All right, I'm gonna read just a couple more. B, I want you to get in on this one because this one is coming straight from the scripture.
Oh, man.
The scripture. All right, so we got
Somebody talk about covenant. Somebody
listen. When people want to make a point, they're gonna drag their Bible into it. They're gonna drag
make
their
sure
Bible.
you walking up with that thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so slang singleness says soft.
Whoa. Time out. Slang.
Slaying.
Slaying singleness. All right, cool.
Slang _ singleness.
I thought it was a slanging singleness. I'm like, and then you put the Bible into it. You slanging?
She's slanging them words, boy.
Slanging scripture. All right. She says soft. If you look at it this way, it's her anointing that they are attracted to. It's kind of like the burning bush and Moses. He's sitting there staring at a bush that's on fire but not being consumed by the fire. I don't know about you, but if I ever came across something like that, I'm not sticking around to see what happens next. Black people rule of thumb. However, Moses stuck around, and because the bush had God's glory and anointing on it, it couldn't help but to look at the bush and stare. The glory of God and the anointing of God is so great on her life that people can't help but to stare. Women probably stare too, it's just less noticeable. We can be very discreet at times. Awesome podcast, by the way. Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for that reply. I appreciate it.
We appreciate all the replies.
Yeah.
All the replies in general, but we definitely appreciate y'all.
Definitely. She. It looks like she dug into the scripture on this. I would say, scripture also says, it also talks about, men being in a relationship, and if he looks outside of his relationship, he's supposed to, take his eyes and rip his eyes out. And it's not necessarily saying do exactly that, but what it's saying is you got to train yourself not to look. Especially in this Wegmans 5-second rule, it was basically saying that the guy was with his girl. I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. He was with his girl, and he was looking at my girl for more than 5 seconds. So that's when it became a problem. So when she throws in the scripture, which is dope, which is awesome, but on the flip side of that is also in the scripture it says, like, when you are with somebody, you're not supposed to look at somebody else's situation. So when we want to bring in the Bible, we can flip flop with it. I don't know what's your take on that, B?
Man, this is my take on that. It's real easy to sit there and be Bible man, right? Mm-hmm. This is what it is. We live in a world where everybody wants to take from everybody else. We already established that. Yeah. So what happens is we're 3 kings, right? We all kings. We walk in, yes, they're going to see our shine. They're going to see the glory. So, and your girl's beautiful. All of our girls are beautiful. It just happens. Like, we walk with a certain glow. So, yes, that's very true. We walk with a glow that draws people to us. Like, people want to know what it is about us, right? Yeah. No problem. Then we got this issue with all these people wanting other things, the next biggest, better, prettier, this, that. Like, my wife is gorgeous, but I'm pretty sure if I could start searching, I could find whatever I want out there that my wife don't have. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's out there. Yeah. It's out there. And that's what we create in men. So what I think is happening is, like, this dude saw somebody who is pretty or whatever, however he's attracted to her, and we're lustful, bro. Mm-hmm. So this dude's been feeding something to himself, and he keeps feeding something to himself where, yeah, it's like that, but I mean, maybe I should look at her response again or something, but
I think more than anything, I was coming from a respect point of view. Us as men, like you said, we have a lustful eye. Like, that's what we do. But I think some of us have a certain level of respect. Say, for instance, when you're in a relationship and you walking with your lady and you got her on the right side of the street, like, there's some men out there that don't know that's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to let your lady walk near the traffic. You know what I'm saying? Walking into a building and taking your hat off and saying yes sir, and shaking hands, yes sir, yes ma'am, like mannerism, respect. And I think there's certain people out there who lack that, and for us as leaders, I feel like we can't turn the other way. You know, we gotta. I'm not saying try to control the situation, but you know, add an alternative. I'm not saying don't look at Shorty. Look, she's beautiful. Everybody gonna look. I already know that. I can't control that. But what I am saying is, there should be a certain level of respect. If you see me with her, get your 5 seconds. Don't go past that. I mean, like,
Or
like
even
get your
dap
look.
you up like that, dog.
Yeah, exactly. I'll even take.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited to do that. You know, and there's been situations where it's been like that. Like I catch him looking, and I'll be like, yeah, and he'll be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got that look, but it's like an unwritten rule. But I'm not saying that to disrespect anybody's opinion, far as solid or soft. I respect everybody's opinion, but definitely I was coming from a point of view of having that level of respect. Us as men, we gotta learn how to respect each other. You know, especially in the public eye, like we're in public. You know, respecting each other's situation. Let's jump into some Q&A. We don't have that much time, so I'll just do one question. And this question is from Carissa. She is attending Eric Thomas's 1% conference. And she says that she's a first-timer. She says she needs some advice on how to take notes. Like, what type of notes should she take? And she's asking us for what type of recommendations would you put out there to her for her first personal development event. I know for me, I'm a visual learner, so taking notes for me really doesn't do much. I would say, Carissa, if you're listening, it just all depends on how you learn. People learn in 3 ways. They learn visually, audio, visually, by your ears, and written form. You know, so if you're a written form person, I would say go in and take notes. You know, write down as much as you can. Maybe voice record it. You know, put your phone down.
That's your best bet right there.
Yeah.
Record the whole joint.
Record the whole joint. You know, ET's conferences are powerful, so you're going to want to, be in that moment. So I don't know if you want to hold the phone and record, but definitely you want to record it. Or if you're a visual learner, just sit back and just take in the moment. And if you're a written form, take notes. What y'all say?
Ask yourself before you go, like, what are you trying to get out of this conference? Because if you don't know what you're trying to get out of the conference, you don't really know what
To take
notes on. You feel me? So if you just want to this 1%, I don't know. If you just whatever it is, you just need to assess yourself on what you are trying to get out, what goals you need to have, and then once you figure out what that is, you'll know. When Eric talk to you, he gonna talk to you, and it's gonna sit down. But you gotta understand what you're trying to get out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Or is it just an experience, like a concert?
Right.
Yeah.
If it's a concert for you, then it's a concert for you.
Yeah.
But if you want something out of it, you gotta take that mindset.
And I think that just listening in, I think that you may have answered your own question because you're a note taker. Because you have to be careful. Remember you said be careful of the words you use. You know how you say you listen to how you talk to yourself? This is not how she worded the question. How should I take notes? Obviously, well, then she takes notes. Do what you already know you do because obviously that's what works for you. Like, if you listen back to this podcast, listen to how many times I say listen. I say listen all the time. I be like, listen. And you know what that tells you about me? I'm an auditory learner. When people be like, hey, watch this, bruh. Watch. Let me show you. They're a visual learner. People will give you the cues, and you will give yourself the cues to understand how you best learn if you listen to yourself.
That's solid. So, Carissa, if you're listening, you just got 3 perspectives. That's how you go in there and enjoy yourself, man. I would say most importantly, man, just live in the moment because I know them ET tickets are expensive.
Mm-hmm. Network while you in there. Network.
Yeah, you around like-minded people. Submerge yourself in that moment.
Yeah, enjoy it, Carissa. Good luck with that. Following remarks, man. Let's wrap it up, man. Following remarks. What we got coming up? Cheat Code Conference.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say.
Cheat Code Conference, man.
Up, down, left, up, down, A, B, A,
Ooh,
B.
A, B, A, C, A, B, D. Yeah, man. Cheat Code Conference. We're looking at March, the last Sunday in March. I went to the museum in D.C., talked to Greg and Mo. It's look like that's going to be a go for the museum in D.C. off of Rhode Island Avenue. That's going to be the cheat code. My two brothers here, we will be speaking. We will be there. Definitely the tickets go on sale soon. So be on the lookout for that. Will, what you got coming up? I know you got so much. I'm going to tell y'all what I threw to Will. I threw Will, finally, the fashion portion of University of Unstuck. And I'm excited about this because I have literally been to the wall with my hands on everything. Again, Will has this podcast. This is his thing. And I'm also, trying to put some more weight on him with the fashion thing because, as you can see, y'all can't see Will right now, but he got the Yeezys on. He got the Yeezy, he got the Unstuck hat on, he got the chains dangling. This is the fashion king right here. Keys. Yeah, he got the keys. He got the keys. Y'all can't see my man Will right now, but he's definitely, big in the fashion game. So I'm happy to be able to.
And he making a light skin face right now when he's talking about that.
I'm thinking, man, like, I'm really in that, like, I'm in this creative space right now, but I'm absorbing so much information, and everything's been aligning for me so far. So it's like, I'm in that behind the scenes process right now. Like, I like 20, yeah. But when I come out, I got some things that I'm working on. Like, I actually have started writing something, and I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is just yet, but I just needed to put something on paper. And I don't write down a lot of things, but I just needed to gather my thoughts on paper. And I'm going to bring it to y'all, and we can talk through whatever that is coming up, that comes of it, and figure out what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's just content for a podcast or whatever it is. But nothing that I've finalized just as of yet. When it comes to the fashion portion of this, man, I can't wait, bro. Like, I'm like, literally, I've been game planning. I've been game planning, ready to speak a cheat code. Like, I've already been working on that mentally. Like, I don't write any of my like speeches or planning their speeches. So, like, I just been researching and gathering information and more ammunition to be able to give and deliver an experience when we get there. Because I think we setting the stage that there's gonna be a little bit higher expectation this time around, and people hearing our voices, and it ain't like surprise, like, oh no, Will, you said on the podcast, give me something new. Exactly. I need some new heat. You know what I'm saying? So it raised the bar a little bit, but man,
that's why I like being around y'all, man. Like y'all raised the bar for real, man. Y'all take it higher, and that drives me. That gives me the fuel. B, what you got? This the busy man right here, man.
I'm just trying to. 2018 was a quiet year for me, man, and 2019 started off beautiful. My birthday right after, my wife's birthday, my son's birthday, and a lot of things just finally aligning for me, man. I've been busy doing the type of work I've been doing for like 7 years, and so it's like you throw a boomerang out there, right? And I've been waiting for something to come back. And for so long, I haven't been seeing that boomeranging back. I don't even know how you say, I guess it was you say boomeranging back. And, but now I'm starting to see this boomerang coming back. And not only do I see it, but I see the blaze of, like, water coming, like, if you throw a ball, coming off of it. Like, so I'm seeing a lot of details that I haven't seen through me being in my quiet behind-the-scenes time all last year. So I'm just excited for a lot of the opportunities coming up. Taking Unstuck into the juvie prisons in Jefferson, and I'm starting a prison ministry, detention center ministry for fathers, parenting from afar. So yeah, I'm just excited for that, man, and hopefully I get a puppy in a couple weeks. That's what I love, man. That's what's shaking for me, man. Yeah, in March I got some for y'all who come into the cheat code conference. I got some. You're gonna be getting up and moving around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get a little intimate with each other. Yeah. It's gonna be fun though.
Yeah, it's gonna be always, fun. Man. I'm excited about it, man. So that's it, man. We got it, man. Second episode, man.
It's
consistency. It's a wrap. I just want to close out with a little bit of Lee Love. there are those of you, you know, who've been looking out for other people and doing so much for other people. You know, you may feel like, you know, some of those efforts were fruitless. You know, I know that the temptation to help solve other people's problems sometimes can't be avoided. But I want to encourage you to, you know, free up some extra energy and extra time to focus your attention on, you know, what's truly relevant in your life right now. I want you guys to stay on track. Y'all know what I like to say at the end of every event. Let's get started. Let's go get it. And let's finish it.
This episode is brought to you by the University of Unstuck. If you're listening to this podcast and you have not yet joined the University of Unstuck, right now is your perfect opportunity. We are introducing our $5 membership where you can get access to daily accountability text messages straight from Lee Jr. and also join our 100+ member community of like-minded people who are taking positive control in life. Be a part of something that will inspire you from the inside out. Also, you can become your own greatest solution. Go to universityofunstuck.com today and sign up.